It's the Jack and Nick Horror Show.
So, Jack, go ahead.
All right, see
Tell
ya.
the people.
Thank you for listening to... Oh, what?
No. Go ahead with this. Tell the people what you got me addicted to.
Crack.
No.
Yeah.
Video game crack.
The worst game ever.
It really is. It really is a terrible game, and yet I can't stop playing it. Star Wars Battlefront 2 was only $9 on PlayStation 4, so I bought it to play with Jack, and now it's been like weeks, and I'm still playing it, and I'm awful at it. I am trash, because the game is trash, because like one dude shoots you one time, but you have to shoot him 50 times, and then he shoots you a second time and you die. That's how that game works. I don't know how they developed a game that works that bad. Yeah, but yet I'm addicted to it.
Yeah.
So that's what I do with my life now.
I think it's the appeal. We are getting to horror. The appeal is just it's just beautiful to look at, and the music is there, right?
Star Wars music.
Yeah, it just makes you feel like you're playing with your figures again. But then it doesn't fucking matter. Like, nothing matters. It's
right. It definitely doesn't matter because it's not like a game you can take seriously because there's like no skill involved. Like there's no skill. I don't think there's skill I could possibly develop in this game.
I did over time. But
yeah, but it takes like 400 hours.
But not only that though, the thing is your skill works sometimes, but other times not so much.
Exactly. So anyway, welcome to Nick and Jack's Star Wars podcast. Let's talk about Solo. I watched it the other day. It was terrible.
I haven't watched it yet, and I don't trust your judgment. You don't like Star Wars anyway. So.
Yeah, I don't like Star Wars anyway, but my wife loves Star Wars, and she hated it. So, I don't know. It was really, really dull. Probably my second least favorite Star Wars movie. Anyway, so this month on PlayStation, since we're a video game podcast, you can get Friday the 13th for free. The game that we both really enjoyed. So go watch that. Go get that. Okay.
It's free.
Wait. Hey, it's October when we're recording this. I hope this episode gets out before Halloween. If not, happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween, everyone.
I would love to do another episode before Halloween, but me and Jack's schedules are kind of like way in opposite directions sometimes, so we don't always get to record. So if this is it, we love you. If not, we will love you again in a future episode. I hope you liked our murder party episode, which came out in October. And that's a Halloween type episode, though. So
it is.
It's a great Halloween movie. It's on Netflix. Go watch that. Go listen to our episode about it afterwards, or beforehand, because we didn't spoil it, and it's got a lot of spoiling stuff that could be spoiled, but we didn't. And tonight we're going to not spoil a movie called Mandy, which I know what I think about it, but Jack refuses to tell me what he thinks about it until we record. But so that'll be like now.
Right now?
Yeah. Tonight we're talking about Mandy, the 2018 film, which just came out on VOD. It was in theaters for just a token theater run. Did anybody see it in theaters? I didn't see it in theaters. Neither did Jack. So anyway, the movie is incredibly hard to explain, except also very easy to explain. Nicolas Cage stars as a guy who lives up in the woods with his wife. He's like a lumberjack, and I think it's like the 80s. And just like until this crazy cult rolls into town along with their like demonic biker gang friends who did too much acid and turned demonic, and then they terrorize Nicolas Cage and his wife, and then they get revenge on him. Well, Nicolas Cage makes a battle axe and goes to town. That's the movie, but also it's much more insane than I could possibly describe, because this movie was made by Panos Cosmatos, whose I think his only other movie is Beyond the Black Rainbow, which we talked about a long time ago on the old podcast. And it's like, that movie, man, just watch the trailer and you'll get the full experience, because it's like very surreal, psychedelic, very colorful. It's got a synth score, and all of those things I just said can also be applied to Mandy. It is a gorgeous, like, kaleidoscopic movie, with parts of it that are meant to feel surreal, and you're supposed to question is this really happening? Is this really happening? Same thing with Beyond the Black Rainbow and this. Not that they take place in the same universe or anything like that, but it's impressive stuff, and I really enjoy it. I will now talk about my opinion of the film. I really enjoy it, and I think it's freaking wonderful. This movie has kind of a like Swedish metal influence to it. I don't even know how to work that into my description of the movie, but it's pretty cool. And the like everything in it is so cool. The demon design, the characters, even like the characters who only show up for one scene or two. Like Richard Brake is in this movie, who is probably my current favorite actor. He was Doomhead. I always forget his character name. In Rob Zombie's 31, he was the original Night's King on Game of Thrones, and he's just this menacing presence of a human. And he's only in this movie for one scene, but I still really enjoyed it. I wish that he was in it like the whole movie, but that's okay, because Nicolas Cage was in it the whole movie. And if you're wondering if you get crazy, screaming, murderous Nicolas Cage, you absolutely do. And that is like awesome. Like Nicolas Cage, sometimes, like, okay, he's in a lot of shitty movies that I will never watch, like Knowing, National Treasure. I can't do those movies. I can't. But this movie I can do. What's the one? Drive Angry was pretty good too, right? Go watch that. Mom and Dad came out earlier this year. It's on Hulu. It's a zombie movie where parents it's not really a zombie movie, it's kind of a zombie movie, but like parents want to eat their children, and Nicolas Cage is one of the crazy parents who tries to eat his kid. And that movie also has screaming, murderous Nicolas Cage, but not to the degree that Mandy does. So therefore, Mandy is a much better movie. I like everything about this movie. I felt like it was an epic feeling movie, but also very brisk. I didn't feel like it droned on too much. I really liked everything about it. There's just such cool shit beyond this movie just being aesthetically pleasing with a very surreal and ethereal look to it. I mean, if you watch the trailer, you'll understand exactly what I'm saying. If you look at a poster of the movie, you'll understand exactly what I'm saying. It's a lot of pinks and reds and like flush colors and like such awesome cinematic touches throughout the movie. It's just absolutely wonderful. I think, you know who else is in this movie is, and I'll let Jack talk in a second, but I just want to also talk about this because it's weird. The dude Linus Roach, who is from Law and Order. He's like one of the lawyers on there, SVU, I think, because I only know about this show because my wife used to watch it all the time. But he definitely shows his wang in this movie, and I was not prepared for that. And that happened. So I'm kind of warning you that you're going to see some Law and Order dick. Not that anybody is like looking for that. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe
if it was long and ordered, then it'd be okay.
Dear God. So yeah, I mean, I really, really liked Mandy. I was anticipating it very highly, and I really liked it after seeing it. It is an awesome, fun movie that is gory. It has great style, a great score and soundtrack. and Nicolas Cage screaming a lot, and taking on a cult and demon bikers. Like, I don't even know what else more I could throw into this review. So I'm just, it's not even a review. It's just me talking about how much I like this movie, but it's getting like a little gushy. So Jack, now can I tell you some things about this movie, Jack, that I think that, here's what I think you're going to say about this. Okay.
Okay.
Because Jack refuses to tell me his opinion. I think he also liked it, but he's kind of making it seem like he didn't. But the reason I think he did is because he also likes kaleidoscopic, ridiculous horror. I'm getting the feeling that he probably didn't like it as much as me, but there's stuff about it that he will undeniably have enjoyed. So let's see what Jack says, everyone. Everyone lean in as you listen. Go ahead, Jack. Tell us what you think.
First off, the funny thing I want to mention is that the director of this is the son to George Cosmatos. And George Cosmatos made Rambo, First Blood Part 2, and Cobra, and Tombstone, and Of Known Origin, Leviathan, are totally different movies. If you were a kid of the 80s and 90s, those are pretty big hits. Especially Rambo, obviously, but Tombstone, you know. Okay. So, Beyond the Black Rainbow, I really enjoyed. I'm trying to remember if you liked it as much as I did. I don't think you did.
No, and I don't like that movie as much because towards the end of that movie, the plot kind of like gets put on hold so that they can have like a cat and mouse slasher movie that totally didn't fit with the surreal psychological horror that they had beforehand.
Okay.
And that's pretty much my only negative on it. I did really enjoy it. I also, though, since I watched it, have never had the urge to watch it again. But I have watched the trailer again multiple times.
So, Mandy is probably going to be my number one movie of the year.
Me too.
I'm just going to call it right now. I didn't want to discuss it with you before the show only because I don't want to blow my wad, so I'm going to blow my wad here.
Me too. Yeah. Barfing with happiness.
Yeah. It's quite great. The thing is that it's a very redundant movie, first and foremost, before we get into the gushing thing. It's the same fucking movie you've seen 100,000 times before. If you saw Death Wish, you saw Mandy. If you saw all the movies that copied Death Wish, you saw Mandy as well. But there's a big but here. Not in the movie. There's Wang. Difference between the two is that there is so much style to this fucking film that it just grabs you. Some people it may not. Those that don't, well, tough titty. Whatever. Go watch something else. My dog's panting in the background. My apologies. It's absolutely beautiful to look at. One thing about Beyond the Black Rainbow, it's another thing too. You look at that movie, it's beautiful to look at, even if you don't like it. You can put it on in the background to some of your favorite music, and you have a piece of art. Mandy has the same thing. You know, there are moments, and no spoilers here, there are moments in this movie that are almost the exact kind of movie or scenes or set pieces that you always wanted in horror, and you get them. You get them. Nick, you know what I'm talking about here.
Oh, yeah.
Certain tool.
You could be talking about so much of the movie.
Yeah.
Because there's so many different things that happen in this movie that are like everything that you want to escalate escalates in the way you want it to. Like, you know, Nicolas Cage, when he's getting his revenge, he doesn't just go and get, you know, the axe from the tree.
No,
he goes
he gets
and
his ass
forges a battle axe.
But he also gets his ass kicked when he first starts. Like,
Yes.
that's one thing that this movie has above so many of the others that you have seen. They don't become indestructible killing machines. Like, or he doesn't. He is a human being. And that's all there is to it. He's just using his rage to get his revenge. But he does it stupidly
Which becomes
at first.
otherworldly by the end of the movie.
Oh, yeah. By the end of it, he becomes, like, a force to be reckoned with. Completely understandable with all the shit that he goes through. It's like a progression of revenge rather than just, kill this one, kill that one, kill this one, kill that one. It eventually gets to that point. But how it's handled is freaking surreal.
Oh, yeah.
The music is beautiful. By the way, the composer of this passed away right after the movie was done. I'm not sure what from, but I read that. The girl that plays Mandy looks just like my girlfriend without makeup.
Dude, I'm so serious. I knew that you would like this movie because I'm watching it and I'm like, this is totally Jack and Lauren. Not that you look like Nicolas Cage, but they're living this like humble life in the middle of nowhere, which you're doing, sort of. You have this workaday job. He's a lumberjack. You're some schlub, doing manual labor, and like. That's how I talk about my friends. You're some fucking schlub.
No, it's true.
No, and like the girl looks totally like Lauren, is probably around her age, and like, I was watching it just like I can't even believe it. They live up in the middle of the woods, just like Jack does, on their little land that nobody comes up to, and it is exactly like you people don't even understand. You don't understand.
We watched the movie on the big screen, by the way. Of course, we had to.
Oh, yeah.
Because that's what everybody that sees this is telling. Actually, it made a lot of money in the theater, or theaters that it's playing in, and they're rethinking the strategy for the film. They said at the VOD, they've made millions on it already.
Really?
Yeah. Which is great. But it's actually surpassing their expectations in the theater because of the experience. So I'm really glad.
By which you mean like the per screen average was high,
correct?
Right?
Yeah.
Because it didn't even make $1 million in the box office, but it was only playing on like 20 or less screens, right?
Yeah, which is great.
Oh yeah.
What's the other thing? So as I'm watching this. Eventually, we may get to the Suspiria remake on the show, but
this episode? I don't think so.
No, not this episode. Well, no, but I'm gonna get into Mandy again in a second. But and this does have to do with it. Watching the Suspiria trailer, I'm like intrigued because I like artsy fartsy shit when there's an actual plot and horror to it, and. It's funny, they actually mentioned the three mothers in the trailer, and a lot of people are talking about maybe they're going to make a trilogy, just like Dario Argento originally intended, and did eventually when he finished it up with Mother of Shit. But as I'm watching Mandy, I turned to Lauren and I said, Panos Cosmatos, if he directed Inferno, you have no idea. I mean, Inferno is one of the most beautifully shot, colorful horror movies ever. But if he had his hands in that, man, he would turn it into something spectacular.
Right. Let's have a sidebar for a moment here. Let's talk about the movies that Panos Cosmatos could direct and make us like thrilled with.
Okay.
I've got one. You remember? Well, all right. Did you see Doctor Strange?
No.
Oh, you didn't? Okay. Well, it's a very... You know about Doctor Strange from the comics and stuff, yeah? For those of you not listening, or possibly Jack, he's like a sorcerer, a wizard dude, right? But in like a modern setting and stuff.
Sorry.
Okay, good. You go do that. So, I don't dislike the Marvel Doctor Strange movie, but I always thought I would like to see someone who has like a really heavy style over substance type of approach to directing and filmmaking to make that movie instead, or make any Doctor Strange movie. I've always said, like, imagine if Rob Zombie made it. It would be like ridiculous, right?
Mm-hmm.
Granted, Marvel's going to not have a cursing Doctor Strange, but you know what I mean. But imagine if Panos Cosmatos made a modern sorcerer in New York City movie, right? It would be wickedly insane.
That it would be. Or imagine King Kong. No, I'm kidding.
Oh my God.
Just kidding. Actually, I think King Kong Skull Island is kind of what Panos Cosmatos would have done. It
would have had a better score.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Oh yeah. Anyway,
okay.
Sidebar over.
Okay. All right. So, a couple of things about this is it is a long runtime. It is 2 hours long, but it doesn't really feel like it. Mm-hmm. When the shit hits, it hits and it hits hard, and there are parts of the movie that are very uncomfortable to watch. Like,
right.
Fire,
but done very well in a way that, like, a normal horror movie, it'd be like, this person gets shot in the brain. In this movie, they're like, nope, they're gonna get fucking burned until they turn to ash, and then you're gonna see someone come over and pick up the ash as it turns to dust. Like, it's crazy.
It's rough, but it's not like overt or kind of like it's. It's just not one of those movies that's over the top just to be over the top. It's not like Panos Cosmatos said, hey, I'm going to make a revenge movie. Here's a revenge movie.
No.
It's not that. That's the cool part about it. Like, there are layers to the movie, too. We're not going to get into the philosophical shit, but I think I'm glad to see Nicolas Cage act and do it well. Mm-hmm. I mean, when he goes crazy, it's great, and everybody laughs at it. It's like he's become like the latest Christopher Walken, where people think, oh, Nicolas Cage, amazing, he's crazy, but he's actually a really fucking great actor and always has been. Mm-hmm. Even in shitty movies, he gives it his all. Wicker Man and all that, but he still is trying to sell it.
Yeah.
It's not like he's being a douche about it. If you want to know how Nicolas Cage acts, just watch Vampire's Kiss. But one thing that it kind of felt like a video game too. Where he goes in order of the people that harmed him.
Yeah. No, I thought this too. Yeah. I mean, like, same wavelength.
It really does. It feels that way, but not like a video game. Another thing, did you notice the homages?
To what specifically?
See, that's the cool thing with this guy, because when horror filmmakers make movies and they go, to see this movie? Me too. We've discussed that before. Happens all the time. What Panos does is he throws in like a quick shot of like Evil Dead 2, of like blood spraying in a person's face while they're screaming. Just like Evil Dead 2, where Nash is on the ground, same exact angle and everything. And there's another scene where it's a famous scene in Friday the 13th Part 3, which I'm not going to give away. I'll talk about it after we stop recording this segment. So you'll know what I'm talking about. Friday 13th 3.
But when I watched it, I like told my wife, "Oh, that was just like blah blah blah."
Yeah.
But I can't remember if it was what you're talking about or not, or anything. I don't remember what it freaking was. Or like, here's an Easter egg. Mm-hmm. The battle axe that Nicolas Cage forges in a forge. he wanted the design of it to look like the logo for. I've always said the name of this band Celtic Frost, but I think it might be Celtic Frost. They're a like folk death metal band from the 90s, I think, and it looks like their logo. That's what it looks like, the F in their logo.
Huh. So
there you go.
Well, there you have it. And that's our thoughts on it. Did you get my message about the scene I was talking about, Nick?
Yeah.
I just sent that. Okay. You know what I'm talking about.
I think I'm, yes, remembering. Yeah.
Anyway, so just fucking watch Mandy. Just
Oh yeah, no, it's great. I really like. There's stuff that without spoiling it, there's spoilers I wish I could talk about, right?
Oh yeah.
But I'm not going to. Oh my God, something on my computer started playing because I was looking something up that I was making sure I had right. Yes. Okay. So, wow. What was I just saying? Okay. Here's something that's not a spoiler, but would totally be the spoiler I'd talk about. There are things throughout the movie, especially as the movie goes on, it intensifies in exponentially, that are supposed to be viewed ambiguously. And there are things that are absolutely left up to your interpretation and not explained in the movie. Mm-hmm. Up to the point where the end of the movie is quite insane and clearly not happening. Mm-hmm. And like there are things, I mean, it's how the story ends, and it is a satisfying ending. But when you watch the whole movie, it's like there are things that happen continuously that could probably not have happened, but they're happening, and you're either going to think, well, it's because Nicolas Cage became some sort of rage demon, or because this is in his mind, or because someone was having an acid trip, which is also supposed to be what you're supposed to think as you watch this, because it is clearly very psychedelically styled. I mean, like, drugs not only play inspiration to the movie, but they play a subplot to the movie. Mm-hmm. And maybe not even a subplot. Maybe it is the plot. We don't really get told that. And I mean, there's a lot of stuff that, like, I feel like we could go on about this movie for another hour or so.
Maybe we'll do a Mandy commentary eventually.
Oh my God. Yeah. I mean, if you want to see a movie that stars a character named Fuck Pig, mm-hmm. It's Mandy. Oh, Jack, here's something. Now,
speaking of fuck pig, hey Jack.
Yeah, because here's a character you'll enjoy. Cheddar Goblin.
Yep. Yeah, that was cool.
Okay, so if you're intrigued by fuck pig and Cheddar Goblin, watch Mandy. Cheddar Goblin is probably also going to be like, that's just wonderful, dude.
You know, Anthony Michael Hall on a bender was great in this too. You know, the one that looks like Anthony Michael Hall, who's tripping on acid throughout the whole movie.
Oh yeah,
the one with the window scene, the up and down.
Yeah.
I could not stop laughing at that. In that situation, I would be the driver, just like wanting to throw somebody out of a fucking window. But
you know what else I like? There's this part early in the movie, and I forget what dumb joke he says, but like Nicolas Cage comes home from work and he sees his wife, and he says to her some dumb one-liner joke or something, right? Mm-hmm. I don't even remember the joke. I bet you don't either.
I don't, but I know I remember he joked.
But I swear to God, Nicolas Cage does this in every movie now. He says something that is a completely stupid joke, mm-hmm. and I swear he's just ad-libbing it into the movie, and they're like too afraid to cut it out, and it works every time. I'm just like, God damn it. That Nicolas Cage boy.
I did read that Nicolas Cage wanted to play Jeremiah.
Really?
Yeah. And I didn't need to see Cage Dick, but like...
No.
Panos Cosmatos is like, no, we can't have you play Jeremiah. And I'm glad that he made that choice, because I think it would have been too cartoony, and Nicolas Cage wouldn't... Like... Cage as that character would have overpowered whoever was playing his character. Mm-hmm. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Really cool.
I'm definitely on team Nicolas Cage when it comes right down to it.
Yeah. He's a great actor.
Like, granted, he's in a lot of shitty movies. A lot of shitty movies.
So is Brendan Fraser.
Right. But, I mean, he's played it, but, like, he also just, like, goes for it in so many stupid ways, like being Dr. Fu Manchu in Werewolf Women of the SS.
Right.
And it's just great, so.
He just, it's funny, like, his thing is that he's not a huge horror fan, but he produced and worked on Shadow of the Vampire, you know, the movie about, what's his name, Max Schreck.
Yeah.
So, and Vampire's Kiss and, you know, a bunch of other shit, but it's just cool that he can adapt and be in any freaking movie. It's really cool. I mean, and I always forget that he's a Coppola. I always forget that, man.
Yeah. Yeah. I was thinking about that the other day.
Mm-hmm. It's he just separates himself from that whole regime so much that you tend to forget who he is. Mm-hmm. So, anyway.
So it's great.
Mandy.
Great. Mandy.
Ready.
We'll talk about this movie again in a couple of weeks or months. Wait, no, weeks? I don't think well, all right. In about 2 months when we do our end of the year episode, because this is number one for me right now, too. I hate to be a spoiler about it, but there's not much else coming out this year that's going to top this movie for me. Absolutely love Mandy.
If I watch Strange Color Everybody's Tears again, no, it's okay.
Right. For the 4th year in a row.
It's neck and neck with Strangers Pray at Night, man.
Really?
I fucking love that movie. Yeah. All right.
Just wait till you see Predator. Telling you.
I'm
Predator.
sure. I'm sure. It'll probably come out before the end of the year.
You want to talk about some other bullshit before we end up tonight, yeah?
Yeah, I want to talk about some bullshit. Something I noticed.
Cool.
All right.
Go ahead. Wait. Play some music first.
All right. Nick, when you watch horror movies, you see tropes over and over again.
Absolutely.
And a lot of people know the tropes and all that.
Yeah, of course. There's some famous ones. The final girl.
Yeah.
The token black guy always gets killed. Those things.
Not always. But
not anymore, especially if not if he's a rapper. They have like can't die on screen things in their contract. But anyway, you want to talk about a new trope that you've noticed.
It's not a new one necessarily, but it's one I haven't heard many people talk about. And it happens in every movie, and I know why it happens in every movie, or every horror movie. Well, almost every horror. Especially before... Okay. There's always that... I'll tell you exactly how it goes, Nick. And you can jump on it and tell me where I'm going with this.
Okay, type of movie.
All right, here we go. This is a scene in any horror movie. All right. There's a guy, we'll call him Carl. All right. Carl's walking through the woods. It's dusty outside. Fog is going past Carl's face. He's walking through. He steps on a twig. What was that? Nothing. Okay, he continues to walk, and then he hears, Carl, right? And he goes, oh, what's that? So he walks towards the voice, right? He's walking, and he hears, Carl, and it gets bigger. And then he finally gets the voice, but there's nobody there. And he turns around, and then there's this demon behind him, and he goes, Bleh! And then he sits up in his bed. No! Right?
Yeah.
How many fucking horror movies has that? You know why they do it? Here's why.
Why?
Okay. So the horror movie that you're watching isn't scary. It's fucking terrible. It's boring. It's just people walking around, people bullshitting, people playing fucking dice games or whatever the fuck they're doing. But there's no horror. There's no fucking horror happening. It's just, let's just set up these characters that you don't give a fuck about. That you just want everybody to die or whatever. You should care about them, but whatever. Okay. The reason they do it, Nick, is because those scenes in that dream are the scenes they're going to put in the trailer to get people to go see the horror movie that doesn't exist because the motherfucker's just dreaming the shit in this why have the dream in the first place? Why? So they could put it in a trailer. It has nothing to do with the movie. It's just a cheap scare. And it's boring. It's getting I've watched like a whole bunch of movies recently. Nothing major, nothing that we need to talk about in the show. Mm-hmm. And every goddamn one of them had the same exact scene. And I'm like, yeah, these are older movies, newer movies, 90s movies, and I'm like, and how many times, like, all right, when you wake up from a nightmare, do you sit up the same exact shot in all these movies and go, no?
No.
No.
Probably only when I have alien nightmares, but even then, I'm like, you know.
I only had one fucking freak out. I scared the shit out of Lauren, where I was riding a Jeep and I was going off a cliff, kind of a la Jurassic Park style, except I was dying. I was falling to my death.
Yeah.
And I was saying, I love you, but I screamed it out loud because I was saying it to Lauren before I was dying.
Wow.
And,
how nice of you.
Yeah. And it was terrifying, but I didn't stand or sit up in my bed with sweat and I go, no.
Mm-hmm.
How many times, though? People listening, how many times does that happen? You probably are like gonna hear this and now hate every horror movie that you watch.
No, definitely is something that happens as a clear like filler amateur. It's one of two things. It's either a filler scene that they add later. The producer's like, we got to punch this up a bit, kids, and they throw that scene in later after the fact, or it is something that some amateur wrote into their fucking movie and is like, you know. There it is.
You don't need it, though. There's no, like, unless there are movies that have dreams that actually make sense and add something to the plot. I'm not discounting all of them.
Right.
But a lot of them are just like, oh, okay, the guy or a girl is after me. Boo.
Right. Like, a lot of times people add it to a movie without understanding why it worked in, like, Nightmare on Elm Street. Because those movies were about things that happened in dreams.
Right.
And the movie you're watching now is not about that. So you have to, like, be smart, kids.
Mm-hmm.
Be smart, kids. Like,
the wisecracking killer is getting old, too. I'm really... It's been old, but I'm getting really sick of it.
What have you seen that in recently? I can't even think of one that's, like, been that way.
Oh, nothing too recent. I just watched, rewatched, what was it recently? Pet Sematary 2. As a matter of fact,
God.
That one had both of the tropes in it.
Yeah,
and it's like when Clancy Brown is killing people, he, like, makes jokes, and I'm like, ugh, no. I had a nightmare and I said no. But yeah, that same shit happens in that movie. And with Edward Furlong, who really can't act his way out of a fucking paper bag. I'm telling you, watch Pet Sematary 2 again.
I don't know if I have to.
No, you don't have to. Just watch a little bit of it. I mean, it's a cool fall movie, actually. It's not terrible. But Edward Furlong in that movie is terrible. He is absolutely unwatchable.
So is everybody else in that movie, like the fat kid friend.
Yeah. That kid is terrible, too. Anyway. Nick, do you have any thing to bitch about, or no?
Thing to bitch about? Jeez.
But a trope like that. Like, you know. Was it the cat jump scare that has to happen?
No, that's had its time, right?
No, it's still happening.
Man, I don't know. It's I don't know if there's any new tropes that really bother me. Especially ones that haven't been like torn down for their stupidity elsewhere, right? No. I think the new trope. No, I don't have one.
You know, it's the thing about dreams is I love dreaming. It's fun, but I ain't gotta tell everybody about the shit. It doesn't matter. It's like,
Yeah.
you know, it's like Star Wars Battlefront 2. I got number 1. Who gives a shit? Who cares? It doesn't matter. It only mattered for like a second. And then the next game, you're back to square zero.
Right.
It doesn't matter. And like, you know, you got social media and shit. And people are like, oh my God, I had this dream. And I'm like, scroll, scroll, scroll. Go away. Scroll.
Right.
I fucking care about your dream.
Man. So that's the show.
That's the show. Oh God. Let's talk about Red Dead Redemption.
Oh yeah, I took the day off of work. October 26th.
Fuck
I
you.
have the day off.
Guess what I did?
What?
I took the whole week off.
Oh my God.
Actually, did I? Let me see. Hang on. I took off. Actually, yeah. It comes out the 27th. I'm working that day, but then
26th.
Fuck your face.
Okay.
I thought it was the 27th. Oh, it's the 27th, I guess, on PlayStation. I'm pretty sure it is.
It's the 26th.
Fuck your face.
Yeah.
But I'm off from the 28th, well, 27th evening till November 6th. So there you have it.
Mm.
Jealous?
We should start a video game podcast too, because that's all we talk about now.
Yeah, we don't have to.
Like that's all we talk about when we.
Yeah,
spend,
but
like...
it'll just be like, what did you do? Well, I don't want to beat Spider-Man, so I played more Battlefront.
Exactly. I definitely played more Grand Theft Auto online this week, even though I have done everything possible in the game. Just trying to whittle away at the days until I die.
Yep.
And also, it's funny that I'm like, oh, we talking about his video games. Like, if you looked at our text, it's probably 84% horror movies, 15% bitching about jobs, and then 1%, video games.
You know what really sucks too?
What?
I come up with a cool concept. You know about it, and or a cool concept for a thing, and I'm like, oh, okay, cool. I finally get to do. Fucking right after I say this shit, I get slammed harder than ever at work.
Yeah.
Where I had 24 hours by Wednesday, and I was off Monday.
Mm-hmm.
That's ridiculous, man.
You know what else too, dude? I told you about my idea for something, and it's like a creative endeavor that I'm trying to do something for.
Mm-hmm.
And then last week, stupid shit happened at work for me, and I spent my whole 2 days off on the weekend work anxiety the whole time, to the point where I almost felt like I couldn't play video games. And then I just I had no ambition, no forward motion, no momentum to do these things, and it really does suck. But this is the plight of the American worker. So, international friends, I hope your life sucks less. But if you live in a third world country and listen to us, then I'm sorry. And also, there are probably better podcasts that you can listen to. You're going to die soon. You don't have to spend that time on us.
Isn't this weird? On Skype, you can share your location with your person. You can also transfer money to the person.
I know.
And add files.
Weird. Yeah. Uh-huh. So anyway, now that we're a Skype review podcast, we should probably end the show. Happy Halloween if we don't talk to you again. Oh, by the way, and I should have mentioned this like earlier. Keep an eye out for the Jack and Nick horror movie playlist of songs. You know, horror show songs. What do we don't even call it a. We just pick a every year that only I guess I listen to.
List of music, songs, things, Halloween.
Yeah.
Jack.
So
show.
Yeah, that'll be on YouTube and maybe Spotify if I remember to put it on there. So that's it. That's the show.
You know,
thanks for coming.
If you
no.
If you download the Spotify app on PlayStation, you can listen to your music while you're playing the games.
Same thing with Xbox. or the PC. Think about it, kids.
Think about it.
We're not even on Spotify, so I don't know why we're hyping them up. At any rate, this has been Jack and Nick having a show.
And stuff.
You can follow me on Twitter at New Jersey Nick, where I get no new followers anymore because I think I've been shadow banned because I said unpleasant things about, everyone. Man.
Fuck them.
Yep.
No! That's what happens. You have dreams about getting unfriended by people.
Yeah, right.
Oh.
No, that's just reality.
There's something I did want to mention. Speaking of dreams, I just said we don't talk about dreams. But here's the deal. When you do play Battlefront 2...
Oh, my God.
I'm just warning you, people. You're going to dream about it. You're going to actually think you're in the game and you're shooting at people and you're trying to strategize the way to win the stupid fucking game. And it happened to me and it happened to Nick and it happened to other people that played it. So there's got to be something in that game. There's got to be. There's no way everybody can have the same brain.
I think it's just like the fucking monotony of it. It's so monotonous that it's calming, and I don't have to pay much attention to it. It becomes very zen, and then I just put on like a movie on my Kindle while I'm watching that, and it's all really good. Yeah. So anyway, we really have to stop talking and end the show. Right. At New Jersey Nick on Twitter, at Jacob K666 on Twitter, and at Jack Nick Show. So that's us. Can you think of anything else?
No.
No.
All right.
No. Star Wars.
Thanks for listening to our show.
No, thank you. Seriously, we love you.
We do.
And goodbye.
We don't want to have sex with you.
No. All right, fine.
No,
goodbye.
you don't, because then, it just...
Yeah. The troubles. The troubles, they come. Okay.
Good night.
Bye.
Sexual.